kind of what I want to cover today is what is fire support in itself. How can we define it? When and why we'd use it? What we're trying to achieve is it? What equipment you'd need if you were a battery commander or a spotter? How to use said equipment? How to call for fire? And how to actually hit a target with the artillery piece you're using. Note, this is all without the artillery computer. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a lesson. And I basically did this because I was bored one day. I think it's quite an interesting subject. So, fire support in itself there's a little picture there. Essentially, when we're talking about fire support, we're talking about indirect fire. And what we mean by indirect fire is that means your target is outside your line of sight. As seen there, there's a big hill in the way. So this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, because rather than pointing your weapon and zeroing your weapon for said 700 meters and firing it, you're now lobbing around into the air, often relying on information from other people, such as spotters. And this would include stuff like your mortars, howitzers, static rocket launchers, self-propelled artillery, anything that's going to fire in that kind of parabolic arc, I think the word is, to hit your target. Stuff to note as well, with most armor maps, it's never really an issue because the terrain, maybe Takistan, you'd find it's an issue. But just take note of what your artillery is actually doing. If you're going to be if you've got your numbers correctly, it's all well and good, but you might just be firing into the side of a hill. Or if your target is in defilade, especially with those long valleys, you'll need to position your artillery firing along the valley rather than across it. Otherwise, you're just going to hit the hill towards you. So when do we use it? So there's a few situations I thought off the top of my head, but it mainly be for your static targets entrenched. You're fighting an overwhelming force, so you need to soften up a position to kind of get those ratios back on your side or assaulting somewhere. And there's a couple of oh no, we're still doing this. Cool. Area denial. So with area denial, you could have a company of infantry flanking your position, or maybe an armor column flanking your position to say the west. What you can do is lay down harassing fire, so periodically shelling with a really large spread, say a grid square, and that's going to either force the enemy to move off from that position or just stop them from coming into that area altogether and maybe channel them somewhere else to maybe friendly forces. Concealment, we have smoke rounds, illumination, light stuff up, and all your targets will be pre-planned. If you are doing targets of opportunity, that will be, again, with spotters. Cool. So what fire support... what support can indirect fire support provide, sorry? Again, so you got so these kind of like your generic. I just had a look through, see what rounds we had. I know you can get into the really nitty gritty like airbursts and shit like that, but I've ignored that. But essentially, you've got your smoke, illumination, harassing fire, which I just spoke about. Essentially, so the way to think about harassing fire is every single bit of artillery or mortars or whatever that's used against players in missions, that's always harassing fire. They're never fired at you to kill you. They're always fired at you to force you to move, whether that's moving and attacking the artillery position or moving and getting them, along with the mission because you're taking too long. So you have a neutralization fire mission. So when we're talking about indirect fire, you kind of got to get away from the thinking of, if I'm going to artillery or mortar position, I will destroy every single person there and I will render that position completely useless. That's kind of not what we're talking about here. It's very much a spread wide, an area effects weapon, a bit like a shotgun at range. You're going to have that real massive dispersion. So when we're talking about neutralizing a target, we're talking about having at least 80% or less than of the enemy force remaining. So we've killed off 20% or rendered them inoperable if they're like armor or vehicles. When we're talking about a destroy fire mission, then that drops down to 60%. But still, you can kind of see there how the majority of the enemy force will still be present. And again, it's not the job of the artillery to completely wipe them off the map. And then you've got adjust fire commands. So, for example, I've targeted a grid square. The rounds have now landed 500 meters to my right as I see the target. I can then call adjust 500 meters left, for example. Any questions on that? Cool. So we'll just whiz through then. So equipment needed. So as a spotter, you'll need binoculars, map tools, compass. they're like your core. If you don't have them, you won't be able to do your job. Maybe not binoculars if you're quite close, but you shouldn't be within 400 meters of anything including supports on, just to spread around. Sorry?
I finally get to use binoculars.
Always. We're going to go into the deepest, darkest depths of binoculars, don't you worry. Rangefinders can be really useful. As the name suggests, you're ranging yourself to the target, so you can really pinpoint exactly where the target is. It's fused in conjunction with GPS, so if you don't have Blueport tracker, you can know exactly where you are. You get the bearing, you get the range, you can stick a mark on the map exactly where it is, so they can be really useful. Battery commander, when I'm talking about battery commander, you'll have a bloke on the artillery system. He will be actually moving the weapon and raising or lowering the barrel of the weapon system. It's better if you have someone else doing all the working out, the calculations and the communications. And it just, from what I've seen, it kind of makes it all run a bit more smoothly, and having them work in conjunction. Because if you're trying to hop into your map, but then use your map tools, but also maneuver yourself so you're facing the right way, but you're also on a gun, it can get really, really fucky. But again, with battery commander or your gunner, you definitely need an artillery range table. Map tools is a must, and a compass is a must. Cool. So this is where it gets a little bit information heavy. I do apologise. So we're now going to go on to the binoculars as first piece of equipment. So you got grads, which is short for gradients. Now, what all that is that's the markings that I've circled in red there on the screen. Hopefully you can all see that. So 1 grad on these binoculars, so the standard I think is ACE that converts them over. That's the difference between the number 1 and the number 2. The little line in between is half a grad. So when you're talking about an entire grad, that'd be from one whole number to the other whole number. You can see there's vertical ones, but I couldn't figure out how to use them, and I don't think they're necessarily that useful if they do work as intended. I'm not really sure how they're supposed to work. Cool. So what does the grad actually do? So what do these little lines do? So a grad can be used to work out a distance between 2 points, and the only information you need is your distance from the target. So it's quite a low threshold for the setup for using the grads. It can actually be a really powerful tool for. This is mainly for adjusting your rounds onto targets. Like I said in the example earlier, to know that a round is 500 meters to the east is really valuable information. It can be really difficult to try and figure that out if you're not using a system and you're maybe 1.5 kilometers from your target. Now there is a bit of maths involved with it. So the way this is so the way this works is it's 10 times however many kilometers away you are, and that is equal to 1 grad. So that is equal to the space between those two numbers. So what does this mean? Well, I've got an example actually. So in this scenario, in this example, I am the blue start marker, and you might not be able to see this too well, but then there's an op4 marker to the north, which is the armored marker. So I am 1.5 kilometers away from this target. So if we plug that into the formula, so 10 times kilometers equals a grad, we now know that 10 times 1.5, because we're not converting it to meters, we're keeping it to kilometers. So 10 times 1.5 equals 15. And therefore 15 meters is equal to a grad. So the space between those two marks, so I took this screenshot in that scenario. So the space between those two marks is 15 meters per grad. So from the outer edge, so from the number 5 on the left to the center, it would be 5 times 15, which is 75. So that'd be 75 meters. That makes sense. Is anyone have I blown anyone's minds there?
So your my brain, yes, my brain is blown. So you've got your distance to the target is the middle function, yeah.
Yes,
times that by kilometers. 10
yep.
in distance, and then that will be the distance of how many 1 grad is.
Yeah, it is. That's it. It is a little bit fucky, okay, cool. But as long as you remember, the only information you need is the kilometers. You can kind of, or at least that's what I do. I kind of figure it out from there. So this is again that example I just showed. So I've circled. They're not really too well, but like the vanilla armored concrete targets. I've circled in red there. So I'm 1.5 kilometers from this target, and I've rounded up on the grads. So I can see there are 7 grads in between each of those targets because we start at
Yeah.
5 and that end at 2. And because we've worked out that each grad is 15 meters, so 7 grads times by however much distance each grad is. So in this case, 15. So 7 times 15 is 105 meters. Obviously, that target's not quite on the number 2 mark there. It's just over to the left-hand side. So it'd be about 100 meters. On the others, they were exactly 100 meters. So you can kind of see how that works. So if you imagine your fall of shot, so where your rounds actually land was on the right-hand side target, you can then really clearly see how you could just, give a command and bring it over. Happy with that? Cool. Yeah, so that's grads. It's not necessary. You don't have to know it, to be honest. It's just I thought it was a bit of nice background as to how it's done in real life. You can, say if you were doing this in op or whatever, just be like, it's roughly 75 meters or whatever, and just bring it over. Cool. Oh yeah, and I've already covered that point. Nice. Now we go over to the next bit of equipment, the map tool. How exciting! So a map tool is essentially an orienteering compass, but it's not magnetic and it doesn't move with the way you look in armor. But what you have here this is how we're going to get our ranges and our bearings. There are our 2 keys, and there's various different components to this. So you've got the ruler there on the right-hand side. Now, each of those numbers are in kilometers, and that's the same across whether you're using the small map tools or the normal map tools. If you don't know what that is, it'll become apparent later. We have a roamer there. It's not too useful in armor. Actually, no, it can be, to be fair. It's hard to explain really without me showing you it, because I didn't do a demo of this. But essentially, it's how you can get a grid reference to the next number across. So in armor, I think it's a 6-figure grid reference is your max.
Yeah.
With this, you can actually get an 8-figure grid reference, and that's by placing where the 2 zeros intersect, placing that on your target, and then reading the values on the X and Y. So we could say. So you can see on the x-axis, it's basically 7, and on the y-axis, it's hard to see from here. I think it's about 4. So it'd be
4.5.
x, y,
4.5.
yeah. So it'd be like x, y, z, 4. No, wrong. It'd be x, y, z, 7, x, y, z, 4. And so that's how you can get that like really precise grid references. But again, it doesn't really matter because we just slap a fat marker on the map and no one really cares. Then we have the direction of travel. This will always be pointing to the top of the tool. So if you move the tool to the left, that arrow will be pointing to the left. It just shows you which way it's facing. This red line will intersect the bearing as well, so you can see exactly what bearing you're on. Now, this is where we get into mils. Now, if you've never heard of mils before, I'll quickly go over it. Mils is literally just another way of measuring the angle in a circle, or well, just an angle in general. So try not to overcomplicate it in your heads. It works it's the exact same system as degrees. It's just split down a hell of a lot more. The key thing to note with mils is that an entire circle is 6,400 mils. So with every one of these numbers, all you need to do is add 2 zeros on the end, and that's how many mils it is. So on the northeastern side, if we look at the number 8, that would be 800 mils. On the southwestern side, if we look at the number 42, that would be 4,200 mils. And you kind of see how it goes up there. Each of the teeny tiny lines is 20 mils. If you forget, you can just figure it out, because there's 100 mils between each of the lines, and five smaller lines in there. And why we're using this today is because it's highly accurate. Well, it's a lot more accurate than degrees. If you're shifting a single degree left or right on a target at range, you may be shifting your impacts, where your rounds are impacted by 500 meters. So that's why we'll be using mils. Obviously, in normal infantry play, you don't give a fuck about it because you can use degrees, because as long as people's weapons are pointing vaguely in the right direction, it doesn't matter. But for these longer distances, you do want to be using mils. On the inside, then, we do have degrees. Again, map tools not necessarily just for artillery. If you want to use degrees for something else, then do it. But try and use mils for this. Cool. So then we go into the compass. Now, in Armour 3, there's not like an orienteering compass. This would be like your standard civilian compass you got here. Obviously, it was out in the mills. This is more of an artillery compass, and that's more the defining feature there is it's got the sight line there. Essentially, anything you line up in that sight, I'm sure you're all aware of this, but whatever. Anything you line up in that sight it will give you a precise bearing from your position on the kind of like the HUD at the bottom. Not a HUD, but you know what I mean. The display, the face. We'll call it the compass face.
Faces, right?
Yeah. So that will give you a bearing. So this can be quite good if you're trying to get really precisely onto where your target is. You can use that, and it works the same as an iron sight. Again, similar to the map tool, you have a direction of travel. So whatever the red mark is intersecting, that is the bearing you're looking at. On the outside, I didn't even know this was a thing until I started doing this lesson plan. It has mills on it. I had no idea about that. So again, your mills on the outside works the exact same way. 6,400 mills, point to whatever and read it out. And then on the inside, which everyone uses, degrees. Obviously a big yellow, what way you're facing. Cool. We'll stop store on that. We will cover it all practical and stuff, whatever. Ask questions later if you want. So this is the range. We're going to go onto the range table now. So the range table is an item, much like a magazine, you pick up and you put into your inventory, into a backpack, whatever. Now the way you use it is your self-interacting self, which I think is control windows. Go down to equipment. It will open up this new menu, and then you've got, see on the bottom right-hand side there, you have the range table. Clever thing with range table is it will automatically calibrate to whatever weapon system you're standing next to that end. If you're standing next to two different weapon systems, so I think out today we got the Mark 6 mortar and whatever the hell the American artillery piece is, was it the M119A2? It will have both of those on there, so just make sure you're selecting the right one to know what you're actually selecting the right table. Otherwise, your calculations will be off and your rounds will be landing nowhere near target. Once you hover over that and then release yourself into Ract, it'll bring up this menu. So this is the range table itself. On the left-hand side, we have our charge selector, charge 0 through to 2. What all the charges is, it's how much explosive you're putting behind the round or the shell or whatever you're lobbing into the air. So 0 will be the smallest amount of charge you're putting behind it, and 2 will be you're putting loads and loads of charge behind it. So 2 is always more than 1. This has no impact on the effect on target, as you're not increasing explosive nature of the round. You're just increasing how much propellant is behind it. Coming across to the right then, so we have the range. That is the range of the target. So when you find out how far away your target is, you go down to one of your numbers and you read across the chart. Elevation, that is the elevation of the gun barrel or mortar tube. And that's in mils, which is why we're trying to keep consistently with mils. Because once you kind of get your head around it, it's a lot easier to use in this circumstance. And yeah, that's literally how much you're raising the barrel up and down. That's denoted in the weapon thing, HUD. Okay, D elevation per 100 meters, Delta Romeo. So this is literally how high or low the target is. No, wrong. So in a scenario where there is a difference in height between you and the target, so say I am at 50 meters above sea level, my target is 250 meters above sea level, there is a difference of 200 meters. And that's when we start coming into this. I'll go a little bit more in detail in that a bit later. But essentially, you're just adjusting your barrel because there's a change in height there. This is how much those adjustments will change the flight time of the round or shell. So that is every 100 meters. So if you're adding 200 meters, the 200 meter difference in elevation, you'll be multiplying both these numbers by 2 and adding or subtracting it to your total elevation. So this one affects your total elevation. And then time of flight, that's literally from when you left click, the round fires, that's from, and then until it hits the target or hits whatever you're shooting at. Again, the time of flight, if you've made those or maybe shift alt drag, and I'd make it a high contrast color like yellow. Point to note, try and do this on group, because if you're doing this in ARP, you don't want to be fucking with the squad leaders' plans or mission, how they're running the mission, because ultimately you're there to support them, so you don't want to try and make their jobs any harder than it has to be. Now we bring up our map tools. So to bring up the map tools, you want to self-interact in the map, select the map tools and press show map tools, either normal or small. And then it will appear on the screen in some random place. There's a tiny little black dot in the middle of that hollow circle in the middle. You literally just drag the black dot onto where you are, as I've done there. You can't see it in this because the artillery marks a black dot in the middle as well. And you can see, this is why we drew the yellow line previously. You can see, you can kind of see, it's a bit of a pain because the mills isn't see-through, but you can kind of guesstimate roughly whereabouts that mark intersects. So I put down it's about 5,220 mils. Because I kind of figure it's going through the single small mark just to the right of 5.2. This is where you start writing stuff down as well if you were to do this on in game. For later. Then what I do, it gets a little bit convoluted here, but I don't know of a better way to do this because you can't manually rotate the map tools in the map. You always have to align it either to north, so it points straight up, or align it to the compass, so wherever you're facing. So what I do... Oh, go on.
If you alt-click, you can rotate the thing around the thing. I don't know if that's...
Can you? Okay, cool. We'll give that a go in mission. I'll quickly go over this. So skip the step if that works. But what I've done here is I've basically gone on some back. I've pressed M, closed the map down, lined my compass up was 5220, opened up the map again, and then aligned the map tools to compass. But again, if Arty has that way of doing it, you don't need to. That makes it a lot quicker actually. See our direction of travel now shifted, is now intersecting 5220 on the mills on the outside, is also going along our line. I didn't get it perfect straight off, it was slightly off to the right and the left, so if that happens, which I guarantee it will happen, you won't get a perfect first try, literally just close down your map, move left or right very, very, very slightly, and then realign your map tools to compass, and that's how I did it. Now I've brought it. Now we've got that compass, that bearing stored. We can then bring our map tools off. And then what I've done is I'm now measuring the distance between myself and the target. I think key point here. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, but make sure you're lining up on the beginning of the black markings, not on the edge of the compass. So the beginning of the black marking to the target. Again, each of these numbers are kilometers. So I've gone. I know it's a little bit over, a little bit more than 6K, but I've gone. It's about 6 kilometers away. But it'd probably be about 6,100 maybe, if that. This is your elevation differences. If you need to get rounds down ASAP, don't do it. If you got a little bit of time, you can feel free to do it. So at the airport, I was 20 meters above sea level. The target is 270. So what I've done is taken away 270 minus 20 gives me 250. So I know the target there's a difference in 250 meters. In this case, I am below the target by 250 meters. Right, now we go onto our range table. So thank you for you so far. So we have the range, we have the bearing. So now we need to get the elevation of the barrel. So we need to find 6,000 meters on here because that's how far away our target is. As you can see on here, on charge 0, it only goes to 2,400. So we need to put a little bit more propellant behind it. So now we're on charge 1, and I've done that just by clicking on the left-hand side there. And you can see 6,000 meters, 6 kilometers down at the bottom there. And if we go along, that's the only line we're reading. So we're reading the elevation of 843 mils. Another one to write down, again, if you're doing it. So now we have the range, the bearing, and the elevation. So we're doing pretty well. And now we've gone from there. We've actually entered our weapon system now. And when you're setting the weapon system, I think you have to scope in on it. It brings up the standard vanilla HUD that you'd see in Armor on the top right-hand side. And there it gives you your azimuth, which is your left and right. So that's how you get your bearing. And it gives you your Echo Lima, which is your elevation. So that's done by page up, page down. So as you can see here, I've gone through and I've lined up my bearing to 5220, and then I've paged up until my elevation hit 843. Was a zeroing is really, really difficult to do. I got a bit lucky with it, but it's quite hard to get it exact. So I'd aim for roughly 3 mils plus or minus. And then I forgot the charge when I fired it, so I had to do it again. Don't forget to change your charge. So make sure that correlates with whatever charge you selected in your Arty table. So that's now charge 1. And then you shoot, and that's it. I say that's it as if it wasn't a lot. That's quite a lot. But that is the entire process from finding it, from knowing where your target is, all the way through. All you're doing is getting various readings, plugging it in and shooting. And this is the splash that I recorded. Jumped to Zeus and zoomed over. So again, that 100 meters or so that I didn't account for, plus I couldn't be bothered to account for the elevation difference. You can see how my rounds landed. I would say it's about 150, maybe 200 meters short. And you can see the spacing there between them. And like I say in the PowerPoint, that's why you have a spotter, because then they can bring those rounds into target. And once you have a spotter doing that, you don't need to do any further calculations. If your spotter says add 100 or so, on here you'd have to go to charge 2, but you'd literally just go down to the next one in between. Or if he says add 50, you just go for the in between the two different elevations of 6,000 and 6,100. Cool. And then I've added this bit as well. Saving the targets can be really useful as well. Again, the only information you need is your charge, your azimuth, and your elevation. Once you have rounds and targets that you're happy with, you can whack one of those markers down, so you can get back onto target really quickly if needed, or have a reference point you can work from that target. So if you then go back, say you need to fire rounds 200 meters past objective gold, you can just swing your barrel around. You know it's 6 kilometers away already, and you can just add 200 meters and find out what that elevation is. Obviously, if your target's moving, this is useless, and if your gunner's moved, that's useless as well, because it'll throw off the calculations. Cool. I've added this bit as just a bit of, if you want to do it like this, you can do. You don't have to. If not, I'll mock this up and I'll made this in Word and screenshotted it. But it's just like a little card of how you can. What's a good way of calling for fire? So broadsword. This is 1 PLT fire mission over, and it'll be like broadsword fire mission send over. Given the target grid or map marker, your own position, what effect you require, how many rounds / when to fire. When to fire can be quite useful. If in a scenario you have a platoon waiting to assault a position, you can designate the target so that the battery commander can then work all of that out, and you can also maybe designate a target 200 meters closer to you. So when you give the word the command, they can then land accurate HE on the target and then accurate smoke cover between you and the target, for example. And then number 5, adjustments. You won't ever do this in your first shot. You'll do it in your later shots. If you're off target, you'll move them. Only ever in multiples of 50. Don't go anywhere below that, because again, this is indirect fire. It's not pinpoint. It's not like GBU 12 being dropped. And then here I've gone through some common phrases which you might find useful. So on target means your adjusted rounds have hit the target. Repeat. This is why we don't use repeat in comms, by the way, because repeat means they will fire the same amount of rounds and same type of rounds at the same targets. Check fire. So that'll stop all firing but not loading of guns and mortars, and they won't fire again until you cancel check fire. This differs from cancel fire mission. So if I called in cancel fire, if I called in, I don't know, say 5 rounds HE on a target, and they fired 3 rounds, and I've said check fire. The moment I say cancel check fire, they'll then fire the 2 remaining rounds, or should do if you got a switched on team. That differs if I say check fire. They fired after they fired 3 rounds, and then I say cancel fire mission. They will not fire those last 2 rounds. Record as target. You can just instruct them to record something as target if the battery commander is not already doing it. And yeah, we covered that already. End of mission. GG, well played, essentially. Cool. That's it. Hopefully that wasn't too dry, and hopefully you kind of understood a bit of it. I can post this PowerPoint if wanted. But yeah, that's kind of it.
I'd like you to post it as a companion to the video that I'm going to release of this, so that way they have and can follow along when I wasn't tapped out.
I'll put it in the content room. Armor content? It's not really out now. That's like screenshots, isn't it? I'll put it in the content room.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm not apples.
I was just trying to think.
Not apples anymore, Chief.
I mean, what, isn't he still a moderator on the Discord?
Nope.
So he completely pulled out of all command, or
Correct.
leadership. Alright.
But yeah, that's that. Oh shit, that is odd for. Nearly. Yeah, what we can do is if we have, we'll have one person spotter. Well, we're 3 people, so we can have one battery commander, one gunner, and then one spotter. I've designated a couple of targets out there already, and then we have a choice between we have the big howitzers, but we also have the mortars as well.
So, I've already calculated the mills and the azimuth for targets 1, 2, 3, and 4, if we assume that we are at broadsword.
We are a broadsword.
Well,
Yes.
right, but like exact broadsword, so it's not 100%.
I mean, broadswords within 100. Well, the whole base is
Within a
within a
few
100-meter
mils.
grid square, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, but you know, especially for the long range shit, that couldn't add up. So,
Yeah, so it'd be quite good because then we can use spotters and stuff and see where they land. I'll
but
just grab
we can calculate distance from here
You can, yeah.
with the grids.
But you spot. So your spotter's not. All your spotter does is they tell you where the targets are, and then they bring your rounds into target because your rounds won't land straight off. In fact, what might be better is, yeah, point to note as well. So you'd have to discuss it with your spotter in mission, but there's 2 ways you can do it. So real life, your spotter would give you adjustments from their perspective. So if they say add whatever, you may actually be shifting your gun to the left. But you can discuss it with them and you can work out and say, well, when I say add, that'll be from the gunner's perspective.
How do we set charge?
You just press F when you're in the gunner seat.
Do not shoot the gun. You're gonna shoot right up front into the fence.
Here, I'll tell you what. I'll do that so that way it's not at risk of killing us. Oh, that didn't do shit.
I mean, this is easy.
Plus, we're going.
Hello.
We're going.
What can I do for you, Chief? What can I do?
Are there any targets at the place?
There are. I'll tell you what. If you guys could dual monitors, you can stay on my stream if you want, and I can stream the splashes.
I've got this opened up on my tablet.
Yeah, so what I'll do is if everyone aims off of... We'll go for target 3 at the moment, because that should be outside your minimum
Oh,
range.
I've just worked out target 2.
We'll do target 2 then. Where's target 2? There it is.
God damn it, everyone's on a fucking thing.
So if I go as... Sharpshooters will have binoculars. Okay, so I'm like... Oh, I need map tools as well. Did that work, by the way? Holding L's.
It did.
Oh, that is so much better. Oh my goodness. So much simpler. See, every day's a learning day. Oh, I love it. It's so good. Oh, you can literally put it... Ah, so good. Because then you get such a better bearing as well, because your line intersects the mills. Where are we firing at? Target 2?
Target 2. I'll
1,
fire
2,
2 rounds.
3, 4, 5.
Did we calculate distance for 2?
Yes.
What's distance?
Distance is 1,590 meters. So mil adjustments on charge 1 or charge 0. Sorry, is 1,231 elevation.
1,200.
Sorry, I've been in fucking Zeus stuff too long, so I'll keep pressing fucking.
Why, if you adjust, yeah, you know what? That's spot on, to be honest. I don't know if you're watching the stream or not.
No, I don't have a second monitor
Yeah, that's like
because I'm poor.
it's you nailed it. But for anyone that is, what I'm seeing there. Whoa! Whoever just fired that round was
Yeah, that was my third one.
dead on target.
My third one. Yeah.
Yeah, so whoever is watching my stream now, you can see the furthest most round. Even though it's quite fine, it won't have a massive impact on everyone there. It might kill a few, but that's still on target, because I'd say it's within 50 meters, and it's not worth adjusting. Because you can see he's not adjusted his point of aim there, and we've had spread of the
3
rounds
rounds immediate, yeah.
literally killed everything, barring 3 dudes. Alright, cool.
I'm just super based.
Has anyone got target 1? No, zeroed in.
Not yet.
What target 2?
Target 1.
I
Or
can do that.
yeah, so Bref, do you want to go target 1, and then Arty, do you want to go target 3?
I'm trying to range in target 2. That's all right.
Oh, my AI is being shot because I'm the wrong side. I'm now up 4.
Nice work, Forehead.
Yeah, just tell me when you're gonna fire so I can get eyes on.
3, 4, 6, 4. Uh, 3, 4, 6. Ah, fuck it. Let's try this. What
What are you
charge did
shooting
you
at?
use for target 2?
Okay.
Charge 0.
Charge 0. All right, 3 on 2.
I forgot how to change elevation. That's the problem.
Page up, page down.
Page down.
All right, shots out.
Time on target.
Why are those so close?
Did you change the charge?
Yeah, to 0.
You change your elevation to accompany that.
Elevation 1276. Charge 0.
1276 elevation.
That's like way up in the air, isn't it?
My elevation for obviously we're slightly different places. My elevation for target 2 was 1231.
1231. I don't know what.
Yep.
It's quite.
Azimuth 6140. Oh no, for target 1. No, this is target 2. Sorry.
And then
Yeah,
I
target.
calculated 346 mil. Can I just? I have to use the mouse.
Check if that hit cross.
All right, sending. Are you ready for target 2?
Yeah, send it, mate. So good abs against as well. So when you're firing rounds, obviously you're only firing as to what's being requested. So it's not your job to determine that; it's the job of the spotter.
Right, but
And then
you know.
when rounds have been fired, just give him an ETA of the rounds. Whatever.
Check target 1 if it's even alive.
Good. Tiger 1 is very much alive.
How did I hit on target 2?
Got a couple rounds out on target 1.
Wait, so on the when I'm looking at at the map tool, the numbers are times 100, right? So if I'm looking at 9, it's 900, right?
900, yeah.
Yep.
My azimuth for target 1 was 930, with an elevation of 1383.
I got
On
9.
charge
My
zero.
elevation is 1347 and azimuth is 930 as well.
Good effects on target for target 1. Whoever
Yeah, that was
shot
me.
fired at that. Yeah,
I mean, I
dead on,
fired a
mate.
few shots as well.
I keep losing
Okay,
my
then it's
fucking
maybe.
pen. There it is. God damn.
See everyone.
Everything's exploding. Yeah, I saw 3 rounds land. So interestingly, so with your
Oh my God,
when you're firing, the rounds land in like a what is it? Where it's like a stretched out circle. What shape is that?
Ellipsis.
Ellipsis. So a
Elliptical.
land in like an elliptical shape, and the longer side, so like away from you, if that makes sense. So the longer side is on the left and right from where you're looking. So when you're firing at target 1, you may have rounds landing, minus 50 meters towards you and plus 100 meters away from you, for example. But they won't really land too much on either side. To bear that in mind especially when you're guiding rounds on target, all the main issue you want to care about is actually getting them on the x-axis over to the target, because then that kind of like spread will be lengthways. I'm explaining it really poorly, but hopefully you know what I mean. Maybe I can draw it on the map better. Oh, I can't draw on the map, can I? Never mind.
I know why haven't been hitting. You calculated elevation for the big boy, and I'm using the mortar, the MK6.
That'll be why. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
I'm going to go target 4.
Yeah, fire, I'm ready.
Give me 30 seconds to get my fucking.
I'm on target 2 again.
Oh, you fired a target too?
I'm going to be in a hot minute, so yeah, go to target 2.
1408.
Yeah, I'm ready for target 2.
One 9. Well, we'll call that 1405.
Breath, can you call shot when you fire on target 2?
Yeah.
These guys are all in combat mode because they've been blown up already. Stop being silly, man. Come on. Love my little CSUD dudes. They're like, oh shit, we can feel it coming.
I'm ready for target 4 if you are.
Yeah, send it.
Shot!
That one target?
Didn't work that one out.
Yeah, you don't have to work out, just... It'll literally say it when on the sheet when you're reading along. Yeah, by now
45 seconds.
Oh, okay, it's not too bad. You would have worked out by now anyway. The gun does like shuffle about a bit when it like reloads, but it recenters itself, so don't touch it.
And 3 shots. Last shot just now.
I'm firing.
Well, I'm watching Target 4. Well, it's fine. Target 4 has been wiped out on the first shell.
Yeah, it was. Second
Wow,
shot.
second shell minced it.
Bang on his fucking forehead. The third one's coming, but like 30 seconds after.
Check rest out.
Target 2, check that.
Nothing's dead here, Breath. What are you doing?
What?
Nothing's dead.
Yeah, because it's traveling, I guess.
I am an artillery god.
I've got a mini side up in this as well.
Excellent. Is it just artillery? We're just artillery.
One of you is spotter. Whoa. Breath, where your rounds landing?
Where, like, nowhere or?
Completely nowhere.
I'll put a mark on the map where they're impacting.
Let me see.
Reference X. Red X.
Okay. Nothing's mega wrong. Let's see.
All right. Standing by to fire on target 2.
Yeah, fire, I'm ready.
Oh my god, that's one.
2 shots, 25 seconds.
I can't count. One and
Watch
two.
out.
Yeah, then.
Ah, it's like I have a drone.
Oh, he's using mortar, that's why it's such a short time target. I heard the little thump.
I deliberately calculated it for short T2 2T. So I could have done charge 3, but I did charge charge 2, but I did charge 1 because quicker time to target. Where the hell did that hit?
I think they're still coming, aren't
No, they hit. You didn't hear that?
they? That means they're hitting near you. Are you facing the right way? Target 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Nothing's landed it.
Check now, I shot. I've completely just counted wrong.
You say you shot again?
Target 2.
Oh, I'm hearing impacts.
No, there's a shots from
Oh, are they?
Breath.
Can you get a check on distance for target 2?
Boosh! Nailed him, Breath.
There we go, man.
Target 2, I think.
Killed all but one.
Can't remember what I wrote for target
What
2.
happened was I counted
I think 1600.
2500 instead of 1500.
Okay.
So that was a click
Just for that,
too
I
much.
was calculating.
Yeah, you murdered all of them. Okay, what's the max range on those guns?
On the big boys.
We'll set up a little challenge.
1500. 15,400 meters.
Oh Jesus, that's 1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
15
4, 5,
kilometers.
6,
Yeah, that's
7,
max range
8,
for
9.
if he's
seven.
using the small mortar.
Okay, cool. So I've kind of got a
Get
huge
on the
radius.
huge gun, Ocarina. Will be
Okay,
easier.
reference, new target.
Well, target 2
This will
isn't
be-
too far.
In fact, what I'll do
Perfect
is I'll make
range.
this. We'll have a race on this one. So he's the best artillery man. Mortimer out of all of you lot.
I'm not competing
Mortarman
in any race.
or
I
artillery?
barely have a grasp on
We'll do
this.
artillery for the range.
I
So
don't
if
have
we
a
go,
grasp on this, in fact.
Sorry, come do it in the.
okay, gentlemen.
Did you
Why
set
did you
it
take
down?
my artillery piece away?
It's coming.
Ah. Oh, it's behind. I see.
Why'd you do that?
Okay, so what we have, chiefs. Get your competitive hats on.
I haven't
On-
hit a single fucking thing. I can't
alright,
compete
man.
in anything.
It's fine. I won't hold it against you. Don't worry, chief. I'll run through it with you afterwards. We'll see who gets first day. So down by Sulaco, keep your eyes on down there, which is the airfield's just south of your position. Well, I say just south, all the way south of your position.
Yep.
The target is there. Kill. Go.
Okay,
Once
damn
the
it.
first, if someone's fired the first round, everyone else stop what you're doing and don't fire anything. So we'll see where the rounds land. If they miss the target, they're disqualified, and then it'll be down to 2 people to see who can hit it first. That makes sense.
Yep.
Cool. Whoever fired, well, actually, you're next to each other, you'll know who's fired first. I can see the brains working. Oki's facing the wrong way. What are we doing?
I'm still trying to hit target 2, goddammit!
Oh, you're just not doing this, okay. Okay. Oki's been disqualified. Oh, Breath's on the gun now, he's moving.
61.
Trying to figure out which way it is. Oh, he's facing the wrong way as well.
Well, me, there's no way.
Don't let me put you off. Just shoot. Oh no, don't let me put you off. Just keep on going. I was wrong. Sorry.
Oh, I have to do azimuth for you.
Why? He's still doing big boy calculations. I could say Breath has jumped the gun. Oi.
You're bad. Go.
Why he's not bullying me for that? So I could tell he's like deep in maths right now. Oh, why is he on the gun? Breath's turret's not raised yet. It's anyone's game. Why is he rotating? Oh, the gun's raising. Why is he just know which way to look?
I was off by a factor of fucking 10.
He's still in it. Breath's not fired yet. Oh, the hand rotates as well. That's so cool. Oh, first shot fired.
This is like completely like fast calculation. I probably did something major wrong.
Give it another 2 shots. So we can get a grouping. Oh shit, I didn't place anything down, did I? Oops. How am I gonna know? Oh, I did place something down.
Fired 3 rounds.
Right. Give these lands.
Hey, can I get you looking over target 2 when they complete their thing?
Yeah. See if Breath hits, otherwise White will have a shot.
Yeah.
Well, you can shoot it anyway, doesn't matter. See who gets closer. Or the ETA and the rounds at this distance.
Let me check.
Oh yeah, it's right north. So you have to like move the map tool as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Fair one.
It's like 70. It's like a minute, more than a minute. 77 seconds.
Yeah, if you haven't figured out already, you can just place like draw a little mark on the map where 6,000 meters.
I think it's
Ooh.
short. Yeah, it is short.
Right, you ready? Am I good to fire across?
Hang on, I'm just listening for the next impact. I want to try and find where he's landing. Actually, you can start firing now, can't you? Because it'll take a while. Ooh. There you go, Breath. That's your point of impact.
Round out. 45 seconds. Well, fucking 75 seconds to fucking target.
It was too short.
85 seconds.
Like 500 meters short.
You demolished a good old household there.
3 rounds.
But yeah, it's interesting
No,
to
because
see
Daddy's
how...
got no fucking home.
So you can see how, look at the spread on this. So take that into account if, if you're firing near infantry, your friendly infantry. I mean, that
Right,
there's
round
about
out
100
across.
meters sound. About 100 meters
Wait,
spread.
I shot over?
No, you shot under. Look where the red mark is.
Oh my god.
You were like 2 kilometers under.
Yeah, no, I thought that was the. Why did I look?
No.
Why did I look there?
Did you hit
Did
what
you
you were
move
looking
it?
at though? No. It's always been there. Down the airfield.
Oh my god, I was.
Did you hit what you're
Okay.
aiming for though? That's the main point.
I think so. Yeah.
Found. Well, you did all the you did the process correctly.
Yeah, it's like nearly 9 kilometers. I put it at 7.
Yeah, I calculate 8,700.
Yours should be good.
Fingers crossed. If I've done it right.
But But yeah, so what I wanted to do was use Fury on that side of that run, but we just didn't have time, so I had to go really, really quickly through it.
Wait,
Yeah,
is the azimuth for the gun not correct?
Should be.
you're
It is.
completely like on the wrong side of Karina. We're facing southeast. Your gun is facing north.
Well, I'm trying to hit target
Jesus,
2.
these rounds are taking fucking ages to
Oh,
come in.
oh, target 2?
Yeah, target 2.
This is the point I've.
Okay, so why is the azimuth on this fucking thing?
I didn't take note of when you shot, to be honest, so I don't know when it's going to hit.
A hot minute ago.
Oh, because it's the azimuth isn't an azimuth. The azimuth is in fucking mils, isn't it?
Yeah, Chief, we fire in mills.
But it's labeled as azimuth.
Azimuth
Yes,
is just
azimuth is
like rotation.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean not what you're using.
Man, this is taking an awful fucking long time to impact.
It's more
Am I
than
being an
it's like
idiot?
a minute and a half.
Have I been an idiot?
I'll go crater hunting. Where are those craters?
46.
Breath craters. I didn't hear the impact or anything.
Well, I didn't hear no impact either. Facing the right way,
It's good to know. Were
I
you
think.
were you using the right rounds? If you run out of ammo, switch to flare rounds. No, because they're fresh
Yeah.
artillery pieces.
I'm gonna fire 3 more rounds.
Yeah, well, wang like 6 of them through or whatever. I'll just rearm you if you run out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fire when ready.
Can I get a spot on target 2?
Target's here.
I worked out why. I was being fucking.
Yeah, what's the time target? Yeah, if you fire now, Arty and I'll.
Run out to target 2.
Yeah.
Give me about 25 seconds.
Cool. So I'll get back over as well.
I got rounds going out.
And I'll get to those after I've seen Okis.
Yeah. My rounds probably landed in the sea. I was off by like. I had an 8 in the wrong place. Six rounds away. Like 85 seconds.
Okay, this
The
is
fucking
fucking
impact.
bullshit.
I'll have a look at this last target, which will be they'll be splashing in about 30 seconds. And in fact, Brett,
I'll have
John,
to come.
yeah, John, one of you boys wants it because you probably know how to do this better than me at this point.
Would I need to go?
I was gonna say, do you mind helping Oki out? Oh, there
Yeah.
we go, YC.
Okay. Just this isn't precise because mouse movement. Can you just check the artillery gun for target 2 and see if I'm even fucking close?
I can. Hold on.
So I'm assuming both you fired at a target.
Hmm.
Both you were on target, like dead on. I don't know
Target-
if you can see the stream. You'll see the grouping.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Fucking.
Target 2
That was me
is
the show earlier than Whitey, so
346 mils.
but I'll
Can you see that kind
That
of
was
like
my-
elliptical
1600 distance.
Yeah.
shape though that's
Which
making?
is elevation
Okay.
1231.
6180, which is good enough. You're like
Whoa,
15
there she
off.
goes, all of them.
And then the distance is
Smacked 'em.
Well, the distance is already calculated, or the distance was 1600.
1600.
That's what was reported.
Okay, and then it's so everything should be good. Let's see the sheet if you actually met. 1600.
Yeah, good effort.
1231. Yeah, no,
1231.
your elevation's off. It's 1263.
Well, I mean, but I'm not hitting anywhere near the target.
We'll check now.
1, 2, 3, 1.
Try to shoot now.
Okay. All right. Can I get a spotter on target too?
Yep.
Don't change the charge. Charge should be 0.
What charge should be 0?
Yes.
That would be why. So if you're firing a charge
I'm
1
a
or
fucking
2,
idiot. I forgot to change
your
the
rounds would
charge
just be
to
going
0.
fucking.
Charge 0 should be default.
You'll be going yeehaw like at the get good marker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 29 seconds. And get the target and iron sight or whatever it is in both in view. So look at me. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, like that. So if I'm not on.
I was even square they are anyway. There she goes.
Okay,
Seeing all of them drop.
that's good enough.
What do you mean that's good enough? That was pinpoint. You literally cannot get better than that.
Well, I mean, with adjustment or whatever, I'm happy with that.
No, this is the point I'm trying to get across. It's not nice to think of it like this, but it is an area effect weapon. So if you're hitting, probably if you can see my cursor, well, actually no, we'll use my
Aim
little
small,
red dot.
miss small. If I'm not hitting on top of them, then it's not.
It's artillery though, so if you're aiming like around where my little flashing name is,
It's within
if
a
you're hitting
kilometer.
within that circle,
It's
then
within
you're
a
happy.
kilometer. The spread shouldn't be that big.
Bakhmut simulator.
Huh?
Bakhmut simulator.
Whatever.
Cool.
How are you calculating distance?
Using the map tool.
You use the ruler on your map tool all the way to the right.
Okay, so
Your like dot, the black dot where you should be at, you're set at like 2, so look from 2 and onwards.
Ark, would it help if I streamed what I was doing and showed you?
well, just show me how to calculate distance, and then
Right,
once I
what's my
calculate
stream?
distance, I've got it down.
What's
I'm
my
an
stream?
artillery pro, man.
So what target are we going for? Target 2, yeah?
Since we already have the calculations for target 2, let's switch it up.
What Cross, put a random target down somewhere.
Target 3. That's not
Target
been
3.
hit yet.
Target 3's not been hit.
I
Right,
can't change. Hold on, the app
Can-
isn't letting me change.
Can
my...
I drive there for a second? I want to see
Here
how
we
it
go.
looks like when
Whitey,
you get
watch
shot by one.
stream.
Do you want me to teleport you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you got the map tools on the thing.
Yep, and then I'm moving it to target 3. It's intersecting target 3. Fucking
They are
roughly.
active op 4, by the way, so don't fuck about too
So
much.
I've got that there. That gives me my
Right,
mills.
and at your direction. Yeah, got that.
Yeah.
You're at
calculated
Mark
that.
Spotter.
I
Okay.
calculated
So we got that.
earlier that
I don't have
target
binos,
3
but it's
is
fine.
47 mils or
It's fine.
8.3 cardinal. What would you
No, it's the opposite way around. The inside is degrees. The outside is
Those are
mil.
flares.
That's
I
probably
know,
your
I've not put
problem.
them in
Outside
yet.
is-
Fucking
alright,
hell.
Let's.
Yeah, this one out here, this one here that goes 0 round to 62. That is your
Thanks.
mil, and then your inside is your degrees.
Really, mills
Yep.
seem less accurate now.
They're like dead northwest from
Because
where you
that
are.
is not 62. That is 6,200. So 6,200. Oh, it's 64,000. 6,400 when you come all around.
So
It's divided into 6,400 as opposed to 360.
See it from here. Look northwest.
D, E, G.
So
You said
that makes sense.
You said northeast.
Yeah,
so,
that
No.
so I was like, how?
And
Shush.
then
Yeah, keep going up.
MIL.
Yeah, so the outside is mil. Your mil on this one is
All right.
800, 20, 40, 60.
Now let's use the
So it's
tool to
860.
calculate distance.
So we stick the black dot on where we are. So the end of it on the marker where we are, which is broadsword. And then you just follow it all the way up to where it intersects with the target. So
That's 2.5.
the big numbers.
2.49.
2.48.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.49, yeah.
Maybe 2.8. 7.
No, because that's 3 there. It's 2.1, 2, 3, 4,
No, no,
2.48.
2.47. I mean, excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, 2.37. Because it's not quite there
2.4.
to 2.9 or 2.49, but it's
That's okay. So these individual dots are 20
0.1.
meters. No, they're 20 meters. These
Okay.
smaller lines. These bigger lines are 100 meters. This is 500 meters, and that's 1,000 meters. So that's 2,100 kilometers, 2,200, 2,300, 2,400, 2,420, 40, 60, 80. So 2,480 kilometers to target 3. Yep.
Oh, but
Does
it's
that make
not
sense?
quite there. So, that's
But
why I'm
it's
saying,
close
like,
enough.
7 or 2, 4,
You can't.
7,
That won't work. That's too small. You go up in increments of 50 meters with these things.
Fair enough.
Or 100 meters when it comes to that. So 2.5 is acceptable.
All right,
2.4.
That's how you calculate it. All right, I got that. Let me.
Yeah. So use what we just got, which was 880, 860. Sorry.
2,400.
Azimuth.
2,000.
You got 2,480 meters
Okay.
distance.
Let's get the range table up.
Yep. So in this case, you'd go somewhere between 2,400 and 2,500. In reality, you do 2,500 and just a hair under it. So you'd probably go, your elevation would probably be, if you get it 1380. No, sorry, not 1380, 1385. That would probably get you about right.
80.
Go 1385, for example.
85.
Try that. Yeah, so you're giving yourself a little bit extra to bring yourself a little bit shorter. And only like a touch shorter. And then that should be.
Was
yeah. And it's charge 1.
3.
Make sure you're on charge 1.
Tell us what
It
you
was
fire.
860 in your mils of azimuth.
It doesn't go up to 860.
Yes, it does.
No.
0860.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, not 8600. 860. And then once you've got that, fire. Fire when ready. What did I say the range was? 2.5, wasn't it?
Range was.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just get yourself sorted. So your
2,500.
elevation. Yeah, your elevation 1,385 is what I worked out to be roughly.
Thank you, phone.
Right, you got your elevation and azimuth set?
Not just yet. It doesn't go up to 1,385.
Your elevation, yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
It's not going up to 85.
1,385.
1,381 is the maximum it's letting me do.
I can guarantee you I'm higher than that now. 1,420 is as much as it'll go.
Well, that might be due to elevation or whatever. Or the elevation of the gun and the ground it's on.
What elevation have you got on yours, sorry?
1,381. It's not going up any higher.
On charge
1.
Charge 1. Well, 1382 is what you needed, so just use 1382. That'll get you close enough. Or 1381. That'll get you close enough. Hop out a second, let me just double check your numbers.
Well, every time I jump out, my mouse moves, so I got.
It's alright, just hop out and I'll have a look.
Or
Give me
press
just a
V
sec
and
here.
it won't move
Just
your
press,
mouse.
yeah, just press
Yeah.
V.
Just give me a sec here. Let me just send it, see, because I think this is about as good as it's gonna get. And then you can
Sure.
check the gun and see if it's.
Yeah,
Can I get spotting on target?
Yeah, I've got it saved. Just send the rounds.
Let me switch cam.
Send it.
You shoot, yes.
No, yeah.
I didn't look at time to target, but
It's
Fine.
45 seconds.
right, sending.
Done about 3 or 4 of them.
Only about 3 or 4, yeah.
Well, I don't
Oh.
have the most stable surface for what's in my mouse.
It's fine, don't worry about it. No stress. It's only game.
I think that's 30
You just
seconds.
tap V.
Yeah, well,
Just jump out.
let's
I heard
spreadsheet
the
kill
shot, but
everything.
it's...
20.
That was you shooting this one.
Oh, cop out. Let's have a look at the numbers.
10 to splash. Splash.
I was off
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah,
a
nailed
little
him.
bit to the
There's
left.
two more. There's two more.
Okay, let's see.
Got one more round coming out after that.
Yeah, so
Nice.
obviously, so this is what I mean, again, with the indirect fire. Look at where that grouping is. The grouping intersects within, what, fucking, what's that, like 10 meters of the target, so that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, you
And as
cannot
your
run through this.
spotter, you know, all you have to do is call through on target, send fucking 8 rounds, and you'll absolutely blitz this place because your grouping is spot on there. So
You
always
got
look
2
at the
more rounds
grouping.
coming.
Splash.
Just send them all.
I'll
30
send two.
seconds,
Shoot.
right?
Everything.
45.
Yeah, they fell.
45.
45. We saw 2 hits. I don't know where
Yeah.
the third one
Yeah,
is.
45.
Oh, there's a third one.
That's
That was on.
insulting. That's insulting that his is that much more accurate.
I just
nice hits.
have the
He's got the artillery
gift.
magic touch.
Yeah.
One's dead there.
Well, but
Cool.
I'm satisfied with my results. I'm not going to be an artillery guy anytime
Well,
soon.
your results
so-
were Whitey's results. You
Yeah,
did it
they
all.
were the same results. Just I
So-
got lucky with the spread. That was all.
So
That's it. This is what I mean. You know, you're not getting pinpoint. Never strive for pinpoint accuracy. Well, precision with this because it's not precision munition. The group you've got there is as
Well-
precise as you're ever going to get it.
you want to get in the calculations. You want to get as precise as you can
Yeah,
within the
yeah.
time given because
Sure.
it's not an accurate thing. The more precise you are in your calculations, the more it's gonna the spread isn't gonna affect.
Yeah, I fully understand that, but it's more for your spotters and for
Right.
how you react to this. Like you're saying, it was maybe slightly off, but really, grand scheme of it, calculations were good, and you hit targets without an
I
Arty
mean,
computer.
Thing dead. That's really what we're looking for here. That's
Exactly, and if you
that's
look at how
mission
many
success.
black units there are here, you did a pretty good job of that.
Those last 3 were not me.
And again,
Last
remember the
Last 2.
remember the difference between the neutralization, the destroy. You know, neutralizing, you still have 6% remaining, and destroy you still have 60% remaining. So really, with this is way above what the expected standard would be.
We also sent a shit ton of ordnance over there.
Just God.
Like
Fuck.
five giant ass anti-tank artillery shells is
No, they're H. Right, those ones.
Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll have one spotter, we'll have one battery commander, and we'll have one like system
what does
operator.
the battery commander do?
The maths.
They do the maths. The Mortar, the gunner does the zero wing charges.
Well,
the
tell you what,
killy.
I want to pop off early. Can you guys do the practical training? Cross, can you fill in for whatever role I get voted to?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, well, I'll be the gunner because I already know where the target is.
I'm happy with the maths. I like doing the maths.
Cool. Breath, do you want to be the spotter then?
Sure.
So
Voluntold.